I used to do this when I was.
What is up, everybody? I've got people in my office talking. This is your intro. I'm Ronnie Haskins. We are live today doing more sales training with our new consultants. And why are we doing this? Like, we are just basically trying to put ourselves out there in the marketplace. And we're also doing this to learn. So if you've got feedback about what we're doing that is positive and you'd like to share it with us, please do share in the comments. As I sit here with Clayton and Lauren today, talking about what's going on while they're building their business. So last time we talked, we were discussing crafting their social pitch. And they are working on that. We're all working on that. I think it's always a work in progress. But today, we're discussing having a one-on-one meeting with a colleague. This isn't even going into having a one-on-one meeting with a client or a potential prospect. This is actually networking in town, sitting down with somebody and getting to know them better, and then giving them the opportunity to get to know you better. And so what happens in these meetings and what processes do we follow to be effective at these meetings? So let's bring up the team here. I've got Clayton and Lauren, and they can go ahead and say hi to you guys.
Hey guys.
But these guys are going to be talking about questions for these one-on-one meetings and what I recommend, and then what feedback they have and how they'd like to attack it on their own. So without further ado, let's get started. Getting set up to do one-on-one meetings with people. How do you guys feel?
I'm still really new.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit nervous, but I think that if I can spend the majority of time learning about them and taking maybe 15, 20 minutes of an hour just to share a little bit about who we are and what we do, because people don't really know what an auto broker is.
Right.
And I want to make sure that I do us justice when I talk about it.
Okay. So, like, what do you think, Clayton?
Well, I think that one-to-ones are the lifeblood of business, because when you do one-to-ones, you build a relationship with other people, and you're able to garner some access to their network.
Do you know why?
Do I know why? What?
Why one-to-ones are so effective?
Well, because you'll build relationships with people so they can get to know you and trust you.
Okay.
Oh, I have that book.
Yeah. So, like, if you watch any of the content we're doing, we're looking at this book today, 7 Levels of Communication. These seven levels of communication. So, Clayton, what I'm getting at is when you look at the pyramid in this book, right? So, if you're looking to advance your networking skills, they have a communication pyramid listed here. The usual thing is people like to talk about advertising, or let's send a bunch of emails, or text messages. You know, how many like to get bombarded by text messages? Direct mail.
I don't like any of it.
I go to the mailbox once a quarter. My mom does not like that. Hi, Mom. No, she does not like that. She's like, did you get your birthday card? I'm like, it's January. Last time I went to the mailbox was October. I missed November. So I'll go to the mailbox, Mom, and check. So she'll text me or call me and be like, hey, I sent you something. I'm like, okay, I need to go to the mailbox. So this is the pyramid. Unless you've got a ton of money that you can spend on advertising every month for a consistent 10-year period, I believe you're going to struggle building your business in your industry, no matter what you're doing, if you're just relying solely on advertising. Mm-hmm. So if you look at these pyramids, the first one says, here's the pyramid, right? And then it also gives another little arrow that says, here's the impact. Mm-hmm. And on the bottom is advertising. Mm-hmm. On the top, one-on-one meetings. Mm-hmm. So for us who didn't come from millions of dollars and had to build something from the grassroots, from the ground up, guys, the beauty of this is you have the ability to do it. There's 700,000 people in this town. So you can go out and create meetings with people to sit with them, learn about them, and then if they're interested, they can ask you questions. You can learn about your business. So that's why we talk about one-on-one meetings and why they're so effective. So Lauren's major question of the week was, okay, Ronnie, I've crafted a social pitch that I'm working on. What happens when I sit down with people? So we're going to start talking about that right now. Anything you guys want to add before I get started?
I want to piggyback off of what you said. I really think, Clayton, that we are in a relationship business. We are not in a, one and done,
Right.
that's not
Transaction.
transaction. We're
Right,
not
transactional, right.
transactional. We want people to like, I want to know, for example, when I sell a car, I want to know what adventures are you going to do in that car? Share with me your stories after the fact. Like, I want to like maintain that relationship and build it and grow it.
Mhm.
And I feel like I'm going to pull this in as a mom. Women tend to, if you're a spouse, if you have a spouse, if you have a partner, whatever, your partner is just as much in that transaction as you are, more than likely. Not always, but more than likely. And it's really important that everybody feels like included and a part of this process. So relationships and showing that you care and showing that you're invested in not just the transaction, but the relationship is really important. And I wanted to really emphasize that because I think that's one of the biggest things that we're about.
Yeah. And I think Ronnie's point is just that it's a great marketing tool as well, because you may get a great opportunity to talk about what you do with
Mhm.
someone that could really help you with referrals.
Mhm.
And more so, you're helping them when they send a referral.
I agree. Yeah. It's about building relationships. And so some of the points I would write down is, you need to be genuine. So if you're setting up meetings to meet with people and you tell me you want to sit with me to learn more about my business without trying to sell me stuff, um, then that's what you're there to do.
Mhm.
I have a lot of people that would like to sit down with me and just spend an hour selling,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes the relationships really awkward, and one-sided. If I'm only in the room to meet with you and I have to have my wallet on the table, it's people just get tired of that. I mean, you can get a long way with that, but it's still, I think, difficult. Yeah. So
I don't see a long-term result from that.
no, unless your goal is to have people see you and want to run away from
Yeah, well, that's one way of putting it for sure.
you. So Givers Gain is a book, but it's also it's a core value of Business Networking International. And so in my office, we use a lot of BNI philosophies to train our team and get these guys to be effective in the marketplace. That's why I only hire people that are intelligent, fun, smart, and have integrity. Like, they're not just here to manipulate. Manipulation is something that we do not teach here, and we do not subscribe to or want to have anything to do with. Sometimes, guys, you're going to find out that the person you're sitting with is not going to be your ideal client, or they probably won't ever work with you. Maybe their dad's a car dealer. I've had that happen multiple times. My dad's in the car business. Okay, great. That is not my signal to continue to sell and tell you why I'm better than your dad.
Right.
No.
Right.
It's literally my signal to go, great. Just tell me about your business and let me find out how I can refer you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope that resonated with some people out there, because lots of people continue to sell even though they're not invited to sell, or
Mhm.
the client has no interest. Remember, you want to sell through people, not directly to them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not everybody's the ideal client for that person's dad. So if you talk to them and listen to them and build enough trust, then that person could refer you to someone in their network. And most people know 250 people.
Mm-hmm.
Their dad may work for Ford, and they have a friend that says, I'm looking for a Toyota. Oh, good. I've been waiting to refer Lauren. My dad wants nothing to do with Toyotas. Let me call Lauren and have her help him.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, great. So,
Absolutely.
all right. So go ahead with a question, Lauren, about, paint the picture for what you would like me to talk to you about today.
So I've learned 45 minutes of what the other person does. I've taken the time and um, asked the right questions and learned about their business.
Mm-hmm.
And segue into now, okay, let me just share a little bit briefly, and not necessarily a little bit, but let me share briefly about what we do.
Okay. Or how we can transform your life or how your friends. Remember, we're in this meeting to gain referrals, not sell to the person
Mhm.
sitting there at the chair, right?
Yeah. I'm sorry if I didn't specify that.
So, like, what I usually start with and what I've done for years, and I'm not saying it's the only way that this can be done,
Mhm.
is I start with my bio. And that means I'll tell you what it is. Hey, well, let me tell you a little bit about how this business works. You would start that question with, what do you do, Ryan? I'm like, okay, let me tell you how this all came to be. In 1992, I got out of the military. Nobody would hire me, so I got into a sales position that I did not want to be in.
Mhm.
So, and I know this probably sounds familiar, right? But this is exactly what I would do. And then I tell people, listen, I had to take a sales job because it was the only jobs that were hiring. I started working at a Honda dealership, and I fell in love with it after about 8 months. The first 8 months, I wanted to quit every day because I wanted nothing to do with sales. It was brutal. I didn't like it at all. Going forward, I ended up staying at that dealership 5 years and learning that I loved the industry, but I did not like how I felt when you didn't like the product I had to sell. All I had was Hondas. So if you didn't like Hondas, we were probably going to be enemies because I spent the entire time you were with me selling. Nothing to do with relationships. I needed to do a transaction. And I was only concerned with what I could get.
Mhm.
And so that's when I decided to become a broker in 1998. And we've been building this business ever since, giving people an alternative way to buy cars. And we help them save a ton of time, which calculates out to be thousands of dollars to all of my clients. Um, that's how I usually start everything with my clients. So they have a backdrop of what is it that you do? How does it work? Then you can go into the how to's. We have over 300,000 vehicles available every day. You can pull out the sheet that you have there,
Mhm.
which is a slide that tells people the difference between an auto broker and a car dealer
Yeah.
transaction. So, if you'd like, you could walk me through what you would like to do. I see you chomping at the bit.
You're blind. Uh, um, so, so are you asking me to like role play what I would do?
Tell me
or
what you do. What do you do? I've told you for half an hour what I do. Lauren, what do you do?
I'm an auto broker with Auto Search USA. I work with Ronnie. He's this great guy, really great member of the community. We really like. No,
Wow.
no, but that besides that,
Be that as it may.
be that as it may, we work with our clients to get them the cars that they want, not the cars that we want to sell.
I like that. Yeah.
And so we do this. We're a little bit different than a traditional auto dealer, which makes us able to do that. And I have this sheet for you. I can show you, and we can run through it really quick. The differences between what you would get with working with somebody like me, who's an auto dealer with Auto Search USA, or working with a traditional dealer.
I'm intrigued. Show me the sheet. Walk me through it, Lauren.
This is where I stumble, Ronnie. This is where I don't want to be filmed. So I need to like memorize this better, or at least like have a better feel for it than this. But so here is what you would get through a traditional auto dealer. Clients.
What is this sheet? Tell me what the sheet is.
The sheet is really just the differences between an auto broker versus the dealerships.
Gotcha.
That's what the sheet is. So
Okay.
it's like the traditional auto dealers. Clients are brought in through advertising.
Mhm.
We're all about networking and building relationships. We're
Okay.
not advertising to clients. We are teaching people who we want as clients and building relationships with those people. And then clients work with a random salesperson at dealership. They
Right.
come in, and whoever happens to come first with us, because we build those relationships. People typically know who they want to work with. But what's really cool about Auto Search is what we're doing here. This is how we are all the time. We're very team oriented. So while you may be working with one salesperson, you're not really working with one salesperson. You are actually working with a team of people who are helping find the right vehicle.
Okay.
Which is really nice. And it's not like the back and forth conversations that you would typically have in a dealership where you're talking to the salesperson and then you're haggling for a price and going, they have to go to the owner and then they have to go to the finance person and they have to go to all of these people. No, instead, what we're going to do is we'll have that conversation. If there's any middle work that needs to be done, we'll have it, but you don't need to be privy to it and it doesn't need to waste your time.
Give her some grace. This is the first time she's done this, and she's doing it live. But so I hear what you're saying, and you're saying this is a difference between if you're at a
Okay.
dealership, you're working with tons of a random person. When you're working with us, from start to finish, from selecting the vehicle, deciding all of those things, figuring out the numbers, and then completing the transaction with the paperwork, it's going to be with you
Mhm.
and the team
Yes.
right here every time. So that's what she's saying. So good job. It is funny how the most rambunctious people melt in front of that camera.
Yes, it is.
So Lauren is like the most outspoken. She corrects me all the time, tells me I'm not eating the right foods, all these things. When we turn that camera on, it's like, oh my goodness.
Uh-huh.
So another difference she would say is traditional auto dealers have one. I only had Hondas to sell.
Yes.
So limited models are available, limited used cars to choose from, because no matter how big the city is or how big your dealership is, it is still confined to that particular lot. We access cars all over the country. So I buy cars in Florida, we buy cars in Texas, Tennessee, whatever. We can buy cars all over the country, which broadens the amount of selection that you have if you're working with an auto broker, any auto broker you're working with. Okay, I like the next one. Choices are based on emotion at a dealership.
Yeah. So choices at a dealership are based on emotions. And what we sit down and we do is we talk with our clients. We figure out what it is that they truly want and need and just lay out the facts. Here's what we have to offer. You get to go ahead and decide whether this is for you, whether it's not for you. And everybody
Facts are
can
the
be
facts.
happy. The facts are the facts. Everybody can be happy. Whether it works or doesn't work, this is just what it is.
I don't, what's funny? What I like about that, I don't like the emotional stuff. I always look at vehicle purchases objectively. I'm like, this either makes sense or it does not make sense. So I know that lots of times we're purchasing a vehicle, including myself, emotion drives a lot of these transactions. But the more emotion you can keep out of a car deal,
Yes.
I believe the better it'll be for you.
Mhm.
You don't need leather and only want to retire is one of my little things. You should need to retire and only want leather.
Mhm.
It goes over people's heads.
Yeah. So then the next step would be one of the things that a traditional dealership, buying a car takes all day. Going back to
Oh,
that, who
yeah.
you have to go through, all the hoops that you have to go through, the financing and all of that. We sit down, we learn about our clients, we take 45 minutes to an hour to really identify what their wants and needs are. Then we go ahead and we look for the car. When we finally find the car, we bring them back. I shouldn't say when we finally find the car, but when we do find the vehicle, we can bring them back. And then it takes about 45 minutes to an hour. They get to test drive and then drive home with their vehicle after signing the paperwork.
Yeah.
And so it really makes it, I really feel like, and when we deliver the car, you get the big red bow. It's really fun. The big red bow is really fun. It really goes above and beyond and shows like that VIP service that we really do want for our clients. And the nicest thing I have to really say, I think one of the nicest thing is all of our cost is upfront. Where if you go to a dealership, here's the MSRP in the vehicle window, and then add this and add this and add this and
You
add
have
this.
to guess, right?
They
don't
just
tell you
don't.
until
They
the
don't
very
tell
end.
you to the very end, and by that point, you've invested 9 hours, and now
That's why they do it that way. Then you're like, okay.
It's a mousetrap.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
not
with
bad.
us, we lay out the costs. You know exactly what you're going to expect at the beginning before you sign the paperwork. And if it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. And like I said, everybody can walk away happy with whatever decision is made. We're not big on pressure. We don't want to pressure anybody.
I gotcha. I'll be right back. Someone just walked in the office. You guys keep talking about it, but you have to use this camera.
Okay.
Okay.
So how do you do your one-to-ones, Clayton? Because I'm like brand new. I've done one-to-one so far, and I feel like the lady gave me a lot of grace, but I feel like I butchered it.
Yeah, no, great question. So typically what I do is I kind of, it's very low key. It's just a meeting. We're just going to sit down and get to know each other.
Okay.
And then usually I will ask, so tell me about your business.
Mhm.
And then sometimes people will beat me to it. They'll say, well, tell me about you. And, either way,
Mhm.
you just make sure that they get to talk more. I mean, honestly, what we do, it's not hard. You could, really, you're not really talking about our business that much because it's very simple what we do. We take away all that insanity that occurs when you go into the alternative or
Yeah.
the other. And so you're able to just kind of talk about who you are, what your values are, your beliefs,
Mhm.
and things like that. And so my favorite core value is building relationships. And it was exposed when it became something that was talked about frequently, and I was like, wow, I've always felt that way.
Mhm.
It was always a big deal to me, was building relationships, maintaining them. I'll never forget one time we're driving to Florida. We're going to a relative's house, and Uncle John's and Aunt Cora's house is on the way. And I was like, we need to stop at Uncle John's and Aunt Cora's
Mhm.
before we go, right, to this other relative. And Kate was like, no, I don't want to stop. And I was like, it was like, no, inside I was freaking out. I'm like, because I got to face these people later. And then they're going to be like, they're thinking in their head, right? You just drove right by our house. You could have stopped and said hello,
Yeah.
That was where I was at. So I've always been that's always been a very important part of relationships, is building relationships and maintaining them.
Okay. So let's talk about some of the things, guys, that you can discuss when you're building these relationships. So on a bio sheet, which if you're out there, you can look up these bio sheets for BNI. First is your name, your business name, your profession, your location, previous types of jobs, how long you've been in the business, your family information, your children's names, animals, and your hobbies, activities of interest, city of residence, and for how long. Then it also has in here my burning desire is to. You could fill in that sentence. These are things that this is a sheet that you can use over and over again. It's evolving, it's fluid.
What I really like about those sheets, though, is one of the things that I was taught was you send those before the meeting, and you ask the other person. You send it in an email, and you can text them or call them. Hey, I just sent you an email with my bio. I would love if you could return it. So then you go into the meeting, and you're like, oh, I read what you wrote, and man, I used to have a golden doodle. Or whatever it is that you can already have, you're already finding ways where you're building a relationship even before the
Just
meeting.
relate to each other.
Well, you're finding things that you have in common.
Mhm.
And then your key to success, you could share that with people. So if you're looking for this on your own, it's just a BNI member bio sheet that you can use. So the goal, guys, is to be consistent. Going out there and doing things every meeting differently. You can be successful that way, but I think it's going to be very difficult. Consistently doing your bio sheet and consistently going through a gain sheet, which we'll talk about next, over and over again, it starts poking holes in what you actually believe about it yourself. Sometimes when I'm going through this, I'm like, you know what? I need to change that. I'm not happy with the way this resonates. I don't like the way this lands. I want to basically change it. And so that's the joy of doing it consistently. It shows you your weaknesses. I'm telling you, capitalism reveals everything. It does. Like, it shows you how not confident you are. So, anybody want to add anything to the bio sheet? Because actually, this is a great time. Clayton has a great thing and his why when he's talking about doing business, and I want you to share that, like, because I think it's important. Why do you do this, Clayton?
Well, because I have control over my schedule and I am available to my children when they need me. They are my top priority in my life. And I'm not saying that everything else is not a priority. I'm saying that this is just the reason that I do this, because when my kids need me, I'm actually right there. I'm there whenever they need me. And I can just walk right into, if they have something that's pressing, I can be right there for them right then and there, which, that's not typical.
Well, I mean, I just think it's a powerful why that people, you'd be shocked. Like, it resonated with me when you said it. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Tell me more about what you do now. Like, that's what I'm trying to say is,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be afraid to use it at all. I would be telling everybody, this is why I do this. I want to have my freedom of time, and I want to be able to be there for my kids.
Yeah.
The drop of a dime. And you'd be funny, man. I've walked away from car deals because I couldn't. It was either that or the kids. I've had clients try to pressure me. You don't want to do this deal? I'm like, I told you it's my son's birthday. I remember it happened a long time ago. It was my kid's birthday. I'm like, it was a Saturday, and they wanted me to do this deal. I was like, nope. So I feel what you're saying. I'm like, no, I can always do another car deal. I don't have time for this, and I don't think we're going to be friends. The way you're pushing me, it's like, yeah, I'm like, and we did not talk after that. It was, I'm done. Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about the GAINS worksheet. For you out there, GAINS is an acronym. It stands for goals, accomplishments, interests, networks, and skills. It is a plain, simple sheet with a definition behind it. You can find this if you Google it online as well. Just look up BNI GAINS worksheet, and you might want to add PDF because you can find the PDF that way. So this is another thing you can do. Lauren's question of the day is, what do I do during these meetings? You can discuss the differences between an auto broker and a regular dealership. No problem. I think that discussing your goals, accomplishments, interests, networks, and skills are also highly effective because it helps people connect you with the people that help you reach the goals. If you tell me your goals, then I'm going to start thinking about how I can help you reach that goal. So your goal may be to meet 15 people this month that think like you, John. Okay, let me see if I can. That's easier than I need somebody that'll buy a car tomorrow.
Yesterday?
Yeah, we need to sell. We need to sell. Our goal is. I saw something on. It was a commercial. I was scrolling through X, Facebook, or whatever, and it was like, we need to sell this many products this month. I'm like, that's a great goal.
How do I help?
What does that have to do with me?
What does that have to do with me?
Yeah. So it's more focused on not what you need, but what your clients need and how you can focus to help them reach their goals. So the other flip to this is you want to send this sheet to the people that you're going to meet with.
Okay.
The bio's great if they fill it out for you.
That's true.
But this sheet is like, hey, I want you to share with me your goals, accomplishments, interests, networks, and skill. Now you can find something that's even deeper. Oh, you're with Rotary. I'm with Rotary as well. Which one are you in? I didn't know that. I didn't know you were in Boy Scouts of America. My kids have been in Boy Scouts forever. Not mine, but I'm just giving you an example.
Sure.
So the goal of the meeting is to advance the relationship and learn as much as you can about how you can help the person on that side of the table. It has nothing to do with how many cars you can sell to them or to their network. And if done properly and with genuine attitude, like you're not manipulating, it will eventually pay off and you will receive referrals. The issue most of us have is we want to receive right now. And I can tell you, it took me years to start receiving referrals. We're going to speed that up for you too.
Nice caveat.
I get my fair share. I mean,
You've been in the community giving for quite a while.
That's true. I did have a head start.
What industry? They don't care. They like you. That's the thing. So Clayton's pointing out something here. He's doing solar for what, 3 years? Giving in communities, not selling a lot of solar, right?
Yeah.
But people, they like this guy. He's got a great heart of gold. He's out there still giving, even though he wasn't selling a lot. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur, the majority of the work
Think
you
about
do today will be for free,
Mhm.
guaranteed. But if you stick with it and work hard,
Mhm.
you will get paid. Sometimes now, sometimes later, always eventually.
Yeah.
It'll pay off.
Mhm.
Most people give up before they eventually.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's true.
What's my secret? I was too stupid to quit. You're like, oh, I figured it out. I masterminded it. I knew it was gonna. No, I didn't know it was gonna happen. I'm just like everybody else out there. I was like, I hope it happens. I was just too dumb to look at anything else.
Well, from my perspective, I have the great fortune of seeing where you came from and
Yeah.
all the hard work you put in.
Mhm.
And I get to benefit from that personally because you're mentoring me.
Well, thank you. And the thing, so to finish what I was saying, he spent 3 years working solar, giving and networking in the community. He shifted 2 months ago to becoming an auto broker, and he's already receiving referrals from people. Because they like you and they trust you. People buy from people they know, they like, and they trust. I got an email yesterday about my insurance is up for renewal, and it wasn't from the person I thought it was supposed to be coming from. And I'm like, I don't want to see this.
Mhm.
So I immediately called. She answered the phone and goes, "Nope, I got it. I'm on it." I'm like, "Great." I didn't really care about what the insurance quote said. I cared about
Who you were working with.
who I was working with because I know, like, and trust that person.
Mhm.
And I did not want to be pushed off to something new. And that should resonate with a lot of people. They will spend a lot with you. They'll follow you around. They'll work with you. In turn, you have to take care of them. Do what you say.
Absolutely.
That's a magic one. It's not hard.
Definitely.
Okay. So those two things is really what I would focus on with you guys.
Okay.
The bio sheet,
Gains.
which basically is telling your why.
Okay.
You know, like when I started with you, I said, "Hey, I got out of the military. Like, what's that got to do with it?" Well, let me tell you, I got out of the military. I couldn't get hired. I got into sales. I didn't like being in this captive Hondas, so I started being a broker so I could actually help people. That's the why. That's why I'm here. Now, so most of us want to spend time telling how we do it. We can do this. We can do that. We can do this. We can get this.
Yeah.
I don't think people care about that. They want to know why you're here, and then how are you going to solve my problem.
Mhm.
So once I tell you why I'm here, then I'm going to go into here's how I'm going to solve your specific problem.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sure.
But we digress. We're not in that meeting yet. This meeting is just a networking meeting, which is how people slip. You start sitting down with networking with somebody and you're all right. I want to solve your problem. They don't have a problem.
Yeah.
They're just there to get to know you
Mhm.
and to figure out if they can trust you in order to talk to you again.
Yeah.
So try to
Yeah.
restrain from selling
Yes.
Yeah.
cars and solutions.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay.
Yep, definitely. Because when you do that way, the opportunities will come.
They will. It's guaranteed.
Yeah.
By the way, this is guaranteed to work if you work it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm living proof.
Yeah.
It is guaranteed to work.
Yeah. I absolutely. This is how I get referrals, because the other outcome of sitting down and getting to know other people is that you become top of mind to them. And if you're maintaining the relationship, then you're always top of mind to
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Well, cool. What other questions did you have today, guys? I like this one, Lauren. Now you just got to go practice it.
Yeah. Who's up for a 1-to-1? Just kidding.
Lauren needs one-to-one.
I need 1-to-1. No. I just wanted, again, super new. So just wanted to see how the process works a little bit. And
I would actually love to do a one-to-one.
I was just going to bring that up. That sheet there, you guys should be in the other room role playing it across the.
Well, I can't do it today. I have a one-to-one after our meeting today, but
this is the perfect
we
topic.
can schedule one
Okay,
as soon
definitely
as
for
we're
sure.
finished. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's schedule.
So how are you going to
one.
get better at it? guys, you can role play whatever industry you're in, role play with your friends. Try to pick friends that are going to be honest, brutally honest with you. Like, that sucks, man. I'm not picking up any of the stuff that you're saying, you know.
I can't get through to you while you're eating that chicken fried sandwich.
Right.
Fried
So,
chicken
like,
sandwich.
go talk to your friends. I think I pointed this out to you. I was like, if you practice your pitch, you're at home with your wife, your kids, you haven't practiced this, like, that's your. My kids are brilliant. My daughter's like, I don't want nothing to do with your business, Dad. Wow. I need to work on that pitch. I got to get her interested. How can I get her attention? She's going to be a client eventually. Eventually, she's going to be 25. It's like, okay, I got to get her attention. So even though it was brutal what she said to me, I'm like, well.
So how old's your daughter?
14. I got 11 years to work on that pitch to get her ready to go.
You have a year and a half till she's like ready to drive. So you have a year and a half to start working your magic on your daughter.
Yeah.
I did actually read my social pitch to Kate last night.
Did you?
Yeah, she said, I like it. Just don't let it sound like you're reading.
Sounds familiar.
I was like, okay, cool. I'll work
You
on
need
that.
to just read it over and over
Yeah.
and over and
Well-
just you have to also believe what you're saying. Like it's
Yes.
just so easy
Yeah.
when you
Well-
believe what you're saying to just get through it.
Well,
I
part
mean-
of the practice, I think, is, I wanted to make sure I was really okay with all the content before
Yeah, I know,
I memorize it.
Mhm.
And so now I'm getting to that point where I feel pretty good. I want to do that and doing it with the right enthusiasm.
You're saying exactly what I'm thinking. You don't believe it. Let's just call it what it is. She said
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Do it over and over again until you believe it.
Mhm.
And that's okay. If you don't believe it, then adjust it.
Right.
Maybe there's
Yeah.
something in your pitch that you really don't believe.
Mhm.
The capitalism
I mean,
really
I
throws you. Like,
really-
you're talking about it. It's like, okay, this isn't
Mhm.
working.
Mhm.
That's
I
what
really
makes me
like-
super good. I know what I'm saying is good for you. That's my
Yes.
client.
Mhm.
I already know this. I have to articulate it in a manner that you can receive it.
Yes.
Yeah, I really believe we do not sell cars.
I love it. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't spend any time
Selling
selling cars.
I don't sell cars.
We don't need to.
No, we don't. We need to solve your problem.
Yes.
Cars are the solution.
Mhm.
Deliver a solution. Absolutely.
So
All right. Well, if anybody wants to join us and bring your industry on here or other brokers want to join us, let me know ahead of time. We'll get you an invite. We'll come on here and do this again. And thank you for letting these guys work on their craft
yeah.
in public. We think live training forged in the fire will make you better. So
Sink or
thank you so
swim.
much.
Sink or swim.
Sink or swim. All right, guys. I hope you have a great day.
Bye.